Hiya guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel. And here we are now with part 9 of the Ryfield model Paladin in 1/35 scale. Beautiful, beautiful kit. Bought for me by the very generous John Alec from over in America. And he actually sent me the kit. So I received it before it was available in the UK and then sort of stalled around the painting stage trying to get the right colours. Eventually chose the RC colours, the real colour for it. So if you remember in the last part we did the lights and everything, you're probably wondering why have we got all this here. This is because I'm breaking into the World War I Wednesday videos I do every Wednesday, or most Wednesdays, and I've been doing some wood graining. But I was talking to Luke last night and Luke was telling me that the best thing to do, because I was asking about how to weather this thing, because obviously the M109A7 hasn't really seen any battle as such, so it's sort of very little wear and stuff. So he was saying use a burnt umber wash. So because I've had the burnt umber and the burnt sienna on the cardboard to do the wood graining and the seat and everything for the World War I Sopwith Camel, you can see the wood graining on here if you're interested. You can see that on there, and then here are the wing struts, all wood grained up. So looking good. If I did another one of these, I think I'd just leave it in the brown plastic as Hasegawa intended, because it's been a nightmare. So here we have our Paladin, and here we have our palette. So I have odourless thinners. I have a very small amount of the burnt umber and the burnt sienna mixed in there to make a very thin wash. And I've got a little brush. So what we're going to do is try a pin wash. So what I'm going to do is come down here and just see what happens. I've got antenna in there. That's what you can hear rattling around. And I just want to see what happens when I put this on in there. Remember, this has had a clear coat of VMS satin. So what I'm doing here is just giving it a pin wash just to highlight the details. And then what Luke suggested, as Luke is an awesome modeler, if you haven't seen his channel, go have a look, Black Rifle Model Works. What he suggested was do this on all the raised areas, okay, and then go in afterwards with a lightened mix of the original colour and basically just highlight everything, because I like to think of myself as a pretty good modeler. I think I'm a pretty good modeler, to be honest. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I think I'm pretty good, but my painting skills and my weathering skills leave a lot to be desired. So got a bit of dust or something there, I think. I don't want to pick up on that. Little hair or something. So we'll pick up on the there. And as you can see, this is very subtle indeed, because it's a very weak mix. Okay, so you can see we can do the same down here. Not that anyone's ever going to really see it, but you'll do this down in here on these gearboxes. And there we go. And then we'll pick up on this edge in there, pick up every single little feature, every little line. I can see exactly what Luke's talking about. Now look at that, how subtle is that? It's very, very subtle indeed. So if you're watching this, Luke, thanks buddy. So we'll come along here, we're just touching all these, that edge around there. All these bolts up here, so it's going to take a while, but I'm not going to leave the camera running because it's going to bore you to death if I do. But basically I'm just going to do, what's that there? Is that more fluff? I can't believe how much rubbish there is on this model. I forgot to clean it off before I painted it, was the trouble. And the trouble was it was hanging around for a while, so it was collecting dust as well, which didn't help. So everywhere you look, these grills were terrible. I've sorted them now. But I suppose really what I should be doing is finishing the build before because if you remember, we've still got some little bits and pieces to go together. Another hair there. So yeah, we've still got some bits and pieces to go on here. We've got the steady for the barrel and everything. Of course, we've got to glue the barrel into the turret. So yeah, loads to do. So I'm going to get this as far as I can. and then I'll come back and we'll see how it looks. But I think what Luke has come up with is a fantastic idea, and it is very, very subtle. This is the thing. I think subtlety is the name of the game here. So I've missed these bolt heads here. Look, so we'll just get them. And you'll be pleased to know I think I'll be picking up the M10 Booker, because I really do. Magic Factory are becoming one of my favourite companies. I'm really enjoying you know, the stuff I'm seeing that they do, the moulding and everything. I'm really liking what they do. It was, my first one was the Gerald R. Ford, and then of course I got the B Fist, and I've got quite a few here to build, and I really need to get at least 1 or 2 of them done. And they're also sending me, I've got something coming today and I don't know what it is, it may well be it, but they're doing a 1/9 scale CB1000 Honda. I think it's a race bike, it may be a road bike, and they're sending me that direct from China. So they're cutting out middleman, they're not going to Tiger Hobbies anymore, they're coming straight to me. So that was what Gary arranged, so thank you for that, Gary. So it's a lovely looking kit. It won't be up some of your street, but other people will love it. It's pre-painted and I believe it's designed to be clipped together. Now I don't know if that's going to become true or what, but we shall see. We often find that these kits that are designed to be clipped together need gluing in some areas. Okay, there we go. You can see the effect, and that is so subtle. That is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I never would have thought of this. So thank you very much, Luke. So I'm going to get this done, get the rest of the turret done, and then get back to my World War I aircraft. See you in a bit. Oh, Luke, a massive thank you. Look at that. It's so... That's just what we wanted. I wouldn't have guessed doing that. Honestly, it seems so simple now, but I wouldn't have guessed that getting that sort of broken up kind of... I don't know. It's not used. It's just... I don't know. What I'm going to do now is dry brush or highlight the pins and stuff. But I'm going to let this oil get dry. I've made one fatal mistake. What I should have done is put the decals on first. So what I'm going to have to do is put the decals on, and then wherever there's a decal I'll have to come back and do the wash. Always remember that. Don't make the mistake. Don't do a tank and weather it and beat it up and then put those fresh bright decals on it. It'll look awful. With the wheels, what I did, I went in with the brown wash, as you can see. You can see on the backs as well. But what I did then was made up a slightly darker wash with the Modeller's World washes, and then just went in with a tiny drop of that just to sort of impart a sort of dirty, you know, like a greasy, you know how whenever you get dust in an area, the grease, any grease will sort of spread over the surface. So that's the sort of thing we're looking for. So we got that lovely sort of variation between the hull and everything. What I've got to do now is work out how to paint the tracks, but I'm sure I can have another conversation with Luke about that. What I ought to do is just send the bloody thing to Luke to do. That would be a good option, I think. I'm just going to remove some excess from here before it dries too hard. You can see it's so subtle. It's so subtle, but also so obvious. It's lovely. It really is. I'm really over the moon with it. I wasn't expecting to be this happy with it, to be honest. I'm sure it goes in that way. Where's the slot at the bottom? I'm sure the slot, there we go. So there's the great big gun in the turret. So yeah, looking lovely in that, even if I say so myself. Right, so I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to clear coat, I think gloss coat where the decals go, and then we'll get the decals on. So I'll see you soon, not soon for me, but soon for you. I've got to get back on with this this World War I SOP with camel. See you in a second. Okay, a couple of days later now, and all the oils have dried and everything. I've gone round with a cotton bud with a little bit of odourless thinners on it, and just wipe down all the areas where there was a bit too much of that wash, just to reduce it to a sort of a very light stainy. You can see here there's a glossy area. I've gone over with the VMS gloss varnish wherever I'm going to put decals, and then we'll seal it on afterwards. What I should have done was put the decals on before the wash. I think because I recorded this a couple of days ago, they're doing the wash. I think I mentioned that, didn't I? But I should have done the decals first. It's something I always say, do the decals before you wash it with the weathering, because the decals will weather, the painted on items will weather the same as the rest of it. So we've got our sheet, we've got our decals, we've got some water, I've got my micro set and micro sole, I've got some brushes, and I've got one of these little sculpting tools for positioning the decals. So we're good to go. So I'm going to start with this little panel on the side here. In fact, what I might do actually is start with a decal that I don't want to use, because I've never used RFM decals and I don't know what they're going to be like. So what have we got here? Decal 24. We're using 20. That's interesting. CARC paint, it says on here. You also have that and that, so you can also get CARC green. I didn't know that. Where is a decal that we're not going to use? What have we got on the front here? Number 30 on the back. Got number 3. So if I use number 30, I'm just going to try that out. So decal number 30, which is, that's handy. It's down there. It's right at the bottom. That's good. So what we'll do is we'll get this one off of the sheet. Always use scissors, guys, to cut your decals. That's just an RFM badge there, so we'll oh no, we're not taking that one, are we? We're taking this one here. Right. So we'll take that off of there like that. I'm going to remove this bit of the number. And what I want to do is a little test. Let me grab some tweezers. And I'm going to grab a cutting mat so I can put these down. So I can just put that in there. Put the water up on here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just get the decal wet, put it down there, let it dry. And then I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to take some micro set. Alright, and this is the bit of the test, because sometimes what you'll find, some manufacturers' decals, if you use micro set to put them down, which is what you should do, then it will make them literally just like the proverbial to a blanket as soon as they see the part. So we put some micro set on there. I'm going to pick the decal up, and yeah, that's ready to go already. So what I'm going to do is use my brush just to hold it in place. Okay, and this is not the correct decal in the correct place. So I've got my little sculpting tool here to move the decal around, and as you can see, just as I was just saying, what's happened, the decal has actually gone down, and it is literally like the proverbial to a blanket. You can see it's absolutely solid. So that's what we got. That's why I did this test. You can see I pulled that off of there, and I can literally break the decal in half. And I'm going to try and get under it and get it off. I don't want it on there. One of the easiest ways to get them off, if it'll work, is get some tape. Wow. So you can see what I mean. They absolutely, this is why I wanted to do a test. That has absolutely gone down and stuck solid. So I might be able to get some water on there. Look at that. That was why I did the test. Okay, so now we know. They're very much like, I actually very much like border model decals. I think they're brilliant. But their one downside is, look at that, I can't even scrape it off with a knife. They go down and they just down, and that's it. They're stuck. You can't move them. So I'm going to end up having to sand that off of there, which is crazy, isn't it? So now we know So it's a good little test to do using a decal that you're not going to use, just to see how they're going to work. So what we'll do is we'll put them down on water, and then we'll use the set and sole afterwards. Well guys, that is incredible. I've had to resort to a 400 grit sanding stick to get that out, and it's still left a witness. That is unbelievable. So there we go. Right, I've tried a range of different sanders with no success. So there we are. Right, so what we'll do now, we'll get the proper decal. Where's the rest of the decal sheet gone? Here it is, over here. Okay, so that decal that's going on there is number 10. So it's morning, my eyes are all this side off. I don't know what that means. What I'm going to do is go down here. These are number 12s. So I'm going to cut down there and cut those out. And they say lift here. So I'll get those there. And then we've got this one here. Which we are also going to use. And then I want this one here, which is number 10. There we go, and we'll cut that 10 off. I always recommend, guys, always cut the number off the decal, because the number is often, it's still like a decal ink, but it has no carrier film. And as a result, they sort of break up and just end up with lots of little black pieces. And what will happen then is it gets all underneath your decals and everything, underneath the carrier film. It looks awful. So bear that in mind. Right, is this one ready to go yet? Look at that, they're certainly ready to go. Now, without that, yeah, you see, without the micro set, we're able to move the decal around and position it, get it where we want. This side off, and then we're going to grab the cotton bud and just roll over the top. I must say, these decals look lovely. They go down very, very nice. Then we will put some microset over the top. I'll just leave that to dry. Now, those of you that are thinking, why are you putting microset over the top? If you've got microset, have a look at the instructions. They actually tell you to use microset under and on top of the decals. And then the microsole, the red one, goes down over the top to pull them down into detail. But on flat panels like this, you don't necessarily need it, but we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to go on and put some more. I'll tell you what, we'll do that big one on the side of there. Doing decals on camera is always asking for trouble, because if anything goes wrong, it's going to go wrong when you're on the camera. And decals is probably the best opportunity for something to go wrong and ruin your day. Right. There we go. So this one here, we'll do this one here. This is going on the barrel. So we'll let that soak in. What I'm going to do is just fit the barrel Come on, go in. I can't remember now which way it goes. There we go, it does go in with the slot on the top. So that's going back in like that. I fitted the barrel to make sure I get it in the right orientation. So there we go, right. So that is going along there. Now I haven't clear coated this, so we'll see how the decals perform on a non-clear coated finish, to see if we actually need to clear coat. A lot of people say you don't. I always do, just for safety. I want some more water on there because it's all beading off. And we can just slide that on like that. just look at it to make sure that it's on the side and it's straight. As you can see, without the micro set, you can move it around easily. Whoa! These don't fall off. In fact, I'm going to take this barrel out of here now. Now that we know it's right, I'm going to take this barrel out. Come out, you swine. And then we'll be able to roll that out like that. Here we go. I think it's gone slightly off, hasn't it? It's slightly on a helix. So I should be able to move it around. There we go. That's the beauty of not using micro set. We can still move it around. That's better. And then we'll put some micro set down over the top. That will capillary under the decal now and help it go down. So that can sit there. Just like that. Right. So we'll see how they work without the without clear coat. So we can put that one to bed. But certain decals need it, certain decals don't. If you're doing anything Hobby Boss, I would thoroughly recommend clear coats, because Hobby Boss decals tend to be bit of a swine. Right, so I'm just going to get on with the rest of this now. You don't want to watch me do all these decals, Steve, and then I'll come back when we're ready to use some microsole and we'll see how well that one's worked. Back in a minute. Okay, all done. They go down very nicely indeed, actually. This one here, the S5A, I've got it a little bit, I've got it centered. It should be lower down so that that bolt in the middle sort of comes up in the gap between the bar and the circle of the 5. But once I got it down and pushed it, the decals are quite brittle, and that bolt just broke the decal up, so I didn't want to move it around. And then I've just gone in afterwards. You can probably see it in the reflections. Just go with the magic marker and just you know, gone over where it broke up. So that's that done. That's all the decaling done. On the back here, there's 2 toe heres which are missed out in the instructions. It's decal number 22. They're not called out there, but if you look at the green one, they're there, and all the other stencils are the same, so I thought, well, they've obviously made a mistake. There's another one which says Cark Pick or something pick, and I reckon that's supposed to go up there, but I haven't put on there in case it's wrong. There's also another issue on here. You've got this, it says here Cark Pained. They've missed out the T. Look, guys, whatever company you are, if you want to send me a screenshot of your decal sheet before you go into production, I will happily tell you if you've got any spelling mistakes on there, because things like this are just happening all the time, aren't they? It's just crazy, you know. It doesn't really matter that much because it's so small, but it's taking away from what is otherwise a pretty bloody perfect model. It really is a beautiful, beautiful kit. So what I'm going to do now is go and seal these in. I'll give this another coat of the satin varnish, and then do all the final assembly, and then we got to start doing some detail painting. We got to do the steel on the shovel. I'm going to do the wood handles as well, so that'll make them look quite interesting. And just sort of, these are going to be they're going to be more of a fleshy colour. They look, every picture I've seen, they're more sort of pinky than the rest of the camouflage. I'll do the same on this side as well. Just brush in some very watered down paint, and then that's pretty much it, I think. I just want to remove some of that excess oil from there. I'm also going to paint that cable in with a steel colour. Just going to try and make it look a bit more interesting. And then finally we'll put all those tiny antennae on. The tiny antennae are still inside the hull here. You can hear them rolling around. Okay, so that one there, it did go down quite nice actually over that paint. So we didn't need to do the gloss coat, but I just like to. It's always safe. Sometimes I've known decals before, they just lift if they're on a matte coat, even though they look alright, they don't go down properly. So there we go. So that's got to be glued on the side of there as well. We got our little star on the front here, and there's a little star on the back there. So there we go. Right, let those dry, and then we'll give it a seal. This video is one of those that's made over about a week. It's going to be half an hour long or something. See you in a bit. And we're back. So as you can see now, we have the the hull here, we have the turret over there, bits and pieces. These are all the bits basically the decals have been applied to. So what I'm going to do now is go over where the decals are just to seal them in, the same as I did with the whole rest of the model. And I'm going to use this VMS Varnish HT Top Coat. This is the satin from, I get mine from brooksmodels.com. And yeah, I'm just going to seal these decals in. You can see on this panel here, we've got gloss. Remember I glossed before I put the decals down. So we're just going to, using the Galeri 0.5 needle, this is the swallowtail, and as you can see this satin varnish goes down and it's very matte. And believe it or not, that decal, the carrier film on that has disappeared. That is superb. I do like these RFM decals, I must be honest, they do go down very, very nicely. Now this here, this is where the you put the name on the side of the barrel. And the reason we do this, guys, in case you're wondering, is when it comes to the weathering stages, if you don't do this, if you use oils and stuff, they will pick up on the edge of the decal, which obviously looks very fake. So this is the whole idea, is to seal the decal in, and as you can see, that just looks like it's painted on. That is incredible. Really nice. And here you can see on this one, there's that little star on there, so we're just going to just blow that in. This is a 0.5 needle, as I say, and with this, you can see how thick it is. It just sprays it beautifully. I'm not trying to blow Galeri's trumpet, but what I am saying is this airbrush is bloody great for this varnish. And it's also a very nice airbrush. It's trigger action, it's really easy to use. Just going to cut to air, just dry that back. Really nice. Right, let's go over here. I'm just going to concentrate now on getting the decal sealed rather than the final appearance and blowing it in and everything. These little water canister stencils there. I think that was it for the turret. Yeah, there's one there, two on each side, and those ones around the water canister, so that was that. And on the actual hull, we've got the it's quite a warm day. I've been getting a bit of tip dry, I think. Just blow these in. Looks like I've got a touch of silvering on that one. I'm just looking here. There was a deposit of something on there, that was a bit weird. Look at that, wet cotton bud. I could just wipe all that clear off I've just put on there. It's a bit weird, it's like a build-up. Yeah, so the VMS gloss I'm not over the moon with. I think it's me, it needs some techniques. Just on hand, make sure we don't have you don't want to keep pulling the trigger, guys, and getting a sudden great splurge of paint. That'll ruin your day. Notice as well, we haven't got any lights fitted or anything because we're doing matte coats. We do not want to be covering our lights in matte coats. It's back here, we've got the lift here in the corner, we've got the S5A there. Wow, this VMS stuff is awesome. We've got the CARC painted there, and then we've got the lift here there. We'll blow that back. Just give this one a really good sealing in. So there we go, that's that done. Did I get those two here badges in the back? Yeah, honestly guys, you do not want to miss any of your decals, because when you come to do your washes they look bloody awful. Better to go too thick than too thin. Okay, so there we are. We've used hardly any of that as well. You can see that that is dried on there. The proper painted on look, you can see it on the front here as well. There is no witness of anything on there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right, so I'll get it cleaned up, and I think what we'll do, I think we'll call it a day there for that one, because now I've got to let it dry again. Then I think we'll do some final assembly, obviously except the antenna. I don't want anything that's going to snap off. And then we need to look at doing some detail painting and some weathering. So I will see you back for part 7, will that be? And we'll get it together. I also need some help with painting tracks. I don't know. I've got the tracks here. Where are they? Here's the box. Here's the tracks. They're primed. They're primed in black. Obviously the rubber pads need to be black, but I don't know what to do with the rest. So if any of you guys can help me, I'd be very happy to receive your knowledge. As you know, I'm not an AF feed builder and I'm rubbish at weathering. See you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.